All right, Shalom. First and foremost, Kohala Yahweh Bashem Yahshua, Bashem Rakwakadash. The one state that apostles of great millstone everywhere. Peace and salutation to all the Yakim out there on the highways, byways, doing this work sincerely, diligently, and faithfully through the spirit and power of our Lord, who is Yahweh Bashem Yahshua. Now, here you have it. Headline reads, this is the New York Times. It says Trump abruptly exits NATO gathering after embarrassing video emerges. So what is this embarrassing video? It says President Trump had planned to toward his foreign policy accomplishments at the meeting, but his visit was overshadowed by a gossipy video, and this gossipy video is these other NATO alliances, these other NATO members, which is a part of America, which we know through prophecy, NATO represents the 10 horns that it's talking about, which is NATO and the EU. And this is prophecy beginning to be fulfilled because now you got these other NATO members that's allied with America, talking shit about America, starting with this dude that's in the leadership position of America, which is Donald J. Trump, DJ Trump. These other nations are is laughing at America. America's just become the biggest laughing stock of the world now. Because now prophecy is being fulfilled. Now the Most High is starting to bring this thing all together. Now we see that prophecy is being fulfilled because eventually what's going to end up happening is that, this dude, DJ Trump, he is going to lead America in the Third World War. He is going to lead America in that Third World War against Iran, mostly against Iran because, the biggest ally really that's with America right now, that's truly with America, is Israel, That's the only true ally that they really have, is Israel. And, them so-called Jews, those gutter rats, been itching, to attack Iran for years, which they're going to attack Iran. It's going to be led by them. And in response, America's going to step in. And this dude, DJ Trump, he's going to be the one that leads America in that Third World War, along with, with Israel, those gutter rats that are over there in the land of Israel, But at the same time, you got these NATO leaders, these certain NATO leaders, they're mocking and talking shit about, America and about Donald Trump, And eventually it's gonna get to the point where these NATO leaders they're gonna start to hate America and turn against America. So this is the beginning of the end of them turning on America, by them talking shit behind, DJ Trump's back, huddling up together and just talking shit about this dude DJ Trump. So let me just get a little bit into this. I'm not gonna go too much into it, but I'm just gonna read a little bit of it. It says London. So this is London. It says President Trump arrived in London Monday evening, planning toward a foreign policy accomplishment. His presidential campaign wants him to run on, successfully pressuring allies to pay more towards the cost of running NATO. You see, he wants these other allies to pay more cost, pay more money, pay more tribute. And these other nations, they're getting tired of it. They're getting tired of being pinched to the core. And this is what, DJ Trump is doing. He's pinching his allies to the core. And these other nations, they're getting fed up of it. And you already see the president Emmanuel Macron, the heated argument they had on the news about certain things. So you could tell these nations are getting frustrated by the day, because these other nations, especially in France, their people are protesting. Their people are getting tired of the bullshit. And you best believe America's behind those protesters. This is the reason why these people are protesters, because of America. And you got this dude DJ Trump pressuring his allies, his own partners, pressuring to pay more costs, pay more money, and this is why these other nations, they're getting fed up. They're starting to talk shit about America now. They're starting to talk shit behind America's back, because this is the main reason why they're doing this, because he's pressuring them to give him more money, like a mob boss. So reading on. It says less than 48 hours later, after he was put on the defensive in front of the cameras, and then was the subject of gossip at a private reception of world leaders, at a moment caught in a viral video, Mr. Trump canceled a planned news conference before heading back to Washington earlier than planned. The timing was not perfect. Mr. Trump had hoped the 70th anniversary celebration of NATO might prove a flattering stage and a triumphant narrative, even as Democrats on Capitol Hill on Wednesday trotted out sober legal scholarships to testify at the White House Judiciary Committee first public impeachment hearing. So pretty much, I'm not gonna really get too much into it. It's all going into something else. But the point is that that these other nations now, they're starting to talk shit about America, which is prophecy beginning to be, which is biblical prophecy. Because eventually, what's gonna end up happening is that these allies that are allied with America, NATO, is gonna end up turning on the whore, which talks about in prophecy, because it talks about the 7 heads and 10 horns, which the 10 horns represents NATO and the EU. But I believe they added like about 26 more nations to upset the prophecy. So they added about 26 nations to upset the prophecy. But it all started, but when they started out, it started with 10 nations, it started with 10, but they added like 26 more to upset the prophecy, So let me just jump into the scriptures real quick. So this is the book of Revelations, chapter 17, verse 16. Well, let me start at 15. And he saith unto me, the waters which thou seest where the whore sitteth are people and multitudes and nations and tongues, which America's the great melting pot, So all nations and all matters of people are here. It's talking about America here. And it reads, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall burn her, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. Because what's gonna end up happening is that these other nations, they're just gonna completely turn on America, and slowly but surely, you see that, on displayed on the media now. You had them other nations in that receptionist, huddled up all together talking shit, about DJ Trump, you know. So this is the process right now. We're in the process of the 10 horns hating the whore. And that's ultimately going to destroy the whore. Once you see other nations, a crew starting to huddle up, and discussing, the behavior of this bully, which the hammer of the earth is America, then they're going to end up taking action. They're going to end up attacking, they're going to end up taking action. And this is what you're seeing, you're starting to see these other nations, their allies, they're their own allies, NATO, huddling up together and talking shit about America, And this is prophecy. This is the process of prophecy being fulfilled according to the book of Revelations, chapter 17, verse 16, And let me just read that again. It says, "And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall burn her, and shall eat her flesh, and burn her with fire." Because these other nations, they have that nuclear technology and that nuclear capability. And these other nations, they're going to end up turning on America and ultimately destroying America with that thermonuclear missile. And, so pretty much we're living in a time of prophecy. We're living in some amazing times right now. And we're starting to see prophecy just play out before our face, We're just starting to see the prophecy starting to play out right before our face. So with that, I want to give all praises to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakwakwadosh, double honors to the elders, apostles, a great millstone that rule well, and peace and salutation to all the Yakim out there on the highways and byways doing this work sincerely, diligently, and faithfully. With that, I want to say shalom.